Hello, welcome to our mini episode. This is our very first mini episode. I am Eloise,
And I'm Leia.
and we are here today with our podcast called Not Grown Yet, working with the magazine, the Rabble magazine, which you guys can look up. It's a magazine there to rewrite and construct activism for women and girls, talking about girlhood and who we are in this society.
We also link them in the bio if you want to check them out. And usually we have a talk show on Refugee Worldwide, which is the radio based in Berlin. If you want to check that out too, it's linked in the bio. It's once a month, so we decided to have these mini episodes in between that you could check out too. So yeah, feel free to listen to our last talk show, which is on YouTube too. And let's just talk a bit about girlhood and have fun with it. Grab some snacks, grab something to drink, and enjoy.
Let's have a good time.
Yeah.
So we were thinking a little bit about what we wanted to talk about today, and we came up with this idea of asking questions or giving tips or advice to your 14-year-old self. For me, maybe like a 13 or 12-year-old self, but just your younger self, and reflecting on that and asking or realizing what our society, what your surroundings could have done better, or what you're angry at, or how you feel. So for you, I'm just going to go ahead and ask you, how is it for you?
I remember when I was 14, I was like so focused on my outer appearance, pretty much, and just trying to fit in and being perfect. And I think that's what everyone in this society tries to do, to just be the most perfect self of themselves all the time, which is not possible. And I would have loved if the society just showed me, like, it's okay to be a child, just be a teenager and enjoy that step of your journey. Like, you don't have to stress about what you're gonna eat. Like, I had those days, like those periods when I was 14 where I just didn't want to eat the whole day because I wanted to lose weight. And that's just, when I think back, it's insane to me, and it's so sad that that's what the society asked of me. Kind of. What
It's
was it
like,
for you?
I think it's good to be able to look back, because I think every year that I live, I look back a year and I'm like, ooh, it's so cringy, or it's so sad, or why did I care so much? And I think what affects us in general always is society, is the people that are around us and the people that we surround ourselves with. So I think for me, a lot, when I was younger, let's say 13 or 14, I think for me always very important was my friend group and who I was with, and not only that, but possessions. I think when I was younger, I cared a lot about the things I had, the clothes I had, the way I looked. That sowieso, I think as a girl we can all agree that it's so important. It shouldn't be, but in society it's so important, the way you look. Which, to be honest, I think it's a nice thing to care and to take care of yourself. But when it gets to the extent that you want to change yourself to fit an idea that is pretty, that's where it gets difficult. And at such a young age, like, I see some people in my school nowadays or on the streets who seem young, and you see them dressing up old or trying to prove a point or fit an image that older people are, maybe 17, 18 years old. But that's a whole different phase of your life. It's a whole different phase that you will get to, and there's no rush, as you said. Like,
Yes.
be a kid, like, enjoy what you want to do. But I think exactly in that phase is when you realize, or at least I, after they're like, this, like, fuck this shit. It's not what's most important.
Yeah.
What's inside, what I care about, what I want to do, how I treat other people and how they treat me. I think that's, for me, was what I learned from.
I agree 100%. And when we mean that some people are dressing up older than they might are, that's not a shame. Like, you should dress the way you want to always, and then the way you feel on the inside, you should always try to reflect that.
That's true.
But what we mean is that sometimes there's just that pressure. Also for me,
Yeah.
like, I love wearing dresses, dressing up as a princess when I was really, really young. Then when I grew older, I started dressing up more as, like, how do you tomboy
Yeah,
style.
like a tomboy style.
Yeah, I started playing soccer, all that stuff, and the tomboy stuff, and then it started where I thought, okay, I have to wear decent clothes, I have to fit in. But fuck that. No, if you want to wear a princess dress with 13, like, why
Go
not?
fuck ahead. I know, exactly. Like,
Yeah, just wear whatever you feel like. And I wish that as a 14-year-old girl, there wouldn't be so much pressure.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, you should be everything but yourself.
Exactly. And I think fitting these standards and fitting your surroundings is one of the most important things, or something that everyone experiences, which is horrible because not everyone's the same. Not everyone has to be the same. And I think for me, growing up, I got to dress myself when I was younger. I got to wear whatever I wanted to.
Me too.
Which was amazing.
Yes.
And I think also gender.
Not always. Sometimes when I look back, I'm like,
I shouldn't have done that.
That shit's embarrassing.
Exactly. My mom should have helped me.
Why did you let me wear that?
But I think with clothes in general, which has always played a big part in my life, I don't know why, just what I wear, is gender. Like when you think about, I think my brother, he used to like, either he painted his toes or he used to wear things that for a boy wasn't okay or wasn't blue enough. Say it like that, right? Which is so weird to me that colors have gender. But I think growing up is, especially when you are entering puberty, which is around like that age, 12 to 14, is that when you really have to show that you're entering puberty and things are changing. You're like, what the fuck is happening to me? And you also have to dress in a feminine way and look feminine. And if you don't, it's like, oh, she's just like grungy and grouchy. And I think exactly that age, the age that we're talking about, is when people start to expect things of you. Yeah. And the society starts to say, oi, like you gotta do this, you gotta look like this, you gotta act like this, speak like this, smile like this, walk like this, all this kind of stuff. And it's like, I don't know, I'm not a guy, I don't know what it's like for guys. I'm guessing there's also a part that's like the same age and the same things happen, but not as strong as for girls. Definitely not as strong as for girls.
Yeah, and I think that the goal in our society is always to be perfect. Like also as a society, we always try to be perfect. We try to be the perfect society, which we are far away from.
Yeah.
So far away from.
Yeah. What's up, Antoine?
And now I forgot what I wanted to say. Yeah, we're just like
perfect,
so
far away
yeah,
from.
So we're just
that's
so
what also
far
what
away
Not
from
Grown
it,
Yet is about. I think that's where you found the name.
Yeah. On the toilet.
You found the name of the show on the toilet.
Yeah.
And I was sitting right here and I was on a FaceTime with her and she was like, yo, like I don't know what you did. I don't know one or two, but I think you came back and you were like, yo, like we gotta use this Not Grown Yet. And I thought it was amazing because you can take it in so many ways. You can.
The problem is that our society expects us to be perfect and not to be as close to ourselves and in tune with our soul as we should be.
Yeah.
Like it's always be this thing, but why not shift the focus onto just being yourself and living in the moment
and accepting that in yourself and others. I think society is made up of each individual together. So me being part of that society, I can imagine that at times I would be like, oh, look at what she's wearing, or you're set in this mindset that everyone kind of needs to fit this idea that you have of our world, and it affects us, and we are part of it, sadly. But it's true, being perfect, it makes no sense. There is no, what even is perfect? Like, sorry, what even, like, what I don't know. What does it mean? What do you think perfect means to you?
Perfect is a word that I don't like to use because what is actually perfect? Nothing.
Nothing is perfect.
No, the only thing that I believe is perfect is the nature. It was made the way it was supposed to be, but apart from that, nothing is perfect, for me at least. What I've also realized is that sometimes the society doesn't necessarily ask you to be that perfect person that they imagine, but to be this role. Like everyone has a role in the society, and those people, sometimes I feel like I'm that kind of person. Not always, but in some situations I am. That just doesn't have a role in the society. That just doesn't have the perfect role, and that's okay too. Like if you don't fit in, embrace that. That's normal. This society changes daily. And maybe today you don't fit in, maybe tomorrow you will, maybe in a week you won't again, and that's just the way it is. And just stay with yourself. That's the most
That's a
important thing, I think.
very good thing to say.
And I would love if more people would show that to younger people, especially like teachers. I mean, we are with teachers all the time.
All the time in school.
Parents, of course, but for me, like my parents were always like chill when it came to that stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
But like parents, teachers, just also you, if you're 19, 20, like we are. You're 16.
Not quite, but I'll get there.
But if you are in your 20s and you see little kids, just give them the feeling that they are all right the way they are, even if they are annoying. Like they are running around on the streets screaming, and you think like, oh my god, I have a headache, I want to sleep. Let them be kids.
Yeah.
Like
because we were that. I mean,
yeah, I never had that.
Right? Like I think the freedom also is that many times there's this responsibility, and like even when you are still a kid, people say, hey, like get yourself together, be quiet, do this, organize this, and follow what I tell you, which I always thought was so strange. Teachers and parents are always like what I say counts, and that's it. I think kids have so much more creativity than we think they do, and knowledge than we think they do. But I was gonna say, to her point, is that we were that someday, so we can also look back at it and reflect on it and understand that who I am today comes from this 14-year-old girl who was pretty sad. She didn't understand what was going on. But I learned from the things she went through. So it's a process. It's always an evolution. And my dad's girlfriend was talking about how, I think especially for women, that they were just always told what to do. Like it's always just like hey, you should do this, or oh, but I think if you were less mad, people would listen to you. Or oh, but now you should be even more, like you should be feminist. Like you should, it's like just, I think to get to where we want to get, just stop telling them what to do, especially as not being a woman, because how are you supposed to know? Like I don't know what it's like to be a man, so you don't know what it's like to be a woman, right? Also, so just stop telling me what to do all the time.
Also, mistakes is a really important point. I always thought I'm not allowed to make any mistake. I have to be perfect. I'm not allowed to hurt anyone. I'm not allowed to shame anyone, and then afterwards realize that was wrong. Like, no, make all the mistakes you can, because only from that you learn. And if you're always afraid to make mistakes, you will make more and more little mistakes, and that will add up. So also show kids that they can make mistakes. Also, if it's has to do with like topics of hurting other people, but you can always talk about it and apologize and just figure it out afterwards. Like, make mistakes. That's so fucking important.
Yeah. I think because, as you said, the only way we can learn and not make the mistake again is to make the mistakes and not take it as I'm the worst person ever. I can't keep going. Like, I'm not gonna make it. But take it as okay, now I know what not to do, so I know what to do. Today we just actually my first history class of this year. We were talking about how like that you are your history, and what things that used to happen in our history. Now that we know and we learn about them, they're less likely to happen again, right? That's a good example. Because the more you learn from yourself and others, I think you always have to reflect yourself into others, put yourself into their shoes. So I was always told in Colombia, always put yourself into the other person's shoes to understand what their position is before you say, hey, like you cut out their opinion or you cut out what they're trying to express.
Yes, also, I feel like nowadays if somebody makes a mistake and you're hurt, you get told that you're not allowed to forgive them. Yeah, that's... Like, they did this mistake and they have to suffer for it.
I feel like it has to do with cancel culture a little bit.
Yes, obviously. But no, you can forgive people. That's not a biggie. Like, forgive, and that they will forgive others because they seen, like, your... How do you say it?
Energy, vibe,
is it
aura.
Gratitude?
Yeah, like thankfulness.
Yes.
Yeah.
They will be... Yeah. So... Forgive people. Don't be so hard on yourself. Don't be so hard on others.
And I also think it doesn't have to be forgive and forget. That's things forgive and forget is something different. There's forgive, there's forget, and there's forgive and forget together. I think forgiving is a very beautiful thing. It can take time. You can take your time. You can talk to people, talk to that person, but I think change is such a big thing in our world. People change all the time. People
That's
can't stay
also
the
what
same.
You have to think about. You're not the person you were yesterday. Like, you change every fucking single day.
The more you know, the more you learn, the more you...
My camera just turned off.
Like,
Okay, so
Loki,
my-
let's say, okay, the fucking,
Fucking
the camera
just
turned
turned
off, so we're back again. I'm gonna get my
Um,
like lean back, but
yeah.
we're back.
But I think we've said a lot today, and this is just a video that was supposed to give you some positive vibes. Most things you probably already know because we know a lot of stuff, but we don't really use it, we don't acknowledge it. So this is just a good vibe video for you.
Yeah.
If we end this video, what is one sentence you would tell your 13-year-old self now? Like, just like one sentence.
I think I don't think I knew who I was, but I would say, like, not follow your. I'm not gonna say follow your heart. I'm not gonna say that. But follow your instinct. Follow what you believe is right, and take care of yourself. That I would say, like, follow what you think. Follow your instinct, your guts. I'm not gonna say heart, and take care of yourself. Put yourself first.
Yeah, I think for me, I would just say, take a breath and be a child. Enjoy your life. You can be grown up in 5 years.
Yeah.
You have,
You're pretty good.
You-
like, you
yeah.
got your shit together. Yeah.
yeah. So just be a child. That's what I would say, and hopefully this helped some girls out there.
I was
Even
gonna
if
say,
you're
ask
not
yourself.
14, even if you're 18 and needed to hear this, you can be a child with 18. You can be a child
I
with
was gonna say.
25. Like,
Take your
fuck it.
time.
I'm still a child sometimes. I
Yeah.
have to do stupid shit.
But
And I love
think
it.
It takes. I think we all have our inner child. We all have our inner kid that we want to. That it will always come out of us.
Yeah, and
In-
it will
yeah.
always be there. You will never be able to just say goodbye to it. Just
Yeah.
take care of your inner child and yourself.
I think it's like your deepest. I don't actually know. I'm not a therapist or anything like that. But I think it's like your deepest.
We don't know shit.
darkest-
We just tell what we believe.
We're just
here.
going for it, and you guys should do the same. Like if
Yeah,
you
if-
have
if
ideas.
you-
I was gonna say, if you have ideas, if you have any thoughts, if you loved something we said, if you think we missed a huge part of something, text us. We
Yes.
are Instagram, not grown yet. The O of grown is a 0. So
We'll link everything down below. You can also, if you disagree with something, if you agree, let us know in the comments. We would love to see it. We would love to include it in like next parts and everything. We would
We
just
wanna
love
know.
to see it.
Yeah.
Let's just all try to grow together.
Yeah.
Even if we're not grown.
because we're
yet.
not grown yet.
All right.
Ta-da!
Enjoy
That was
your
pretty
day,
good.
guys.
That was pretty fucking good. We totally just turned that into one thing. But it was nice to have you here.
Yeah. Let's just say bye. Ending a video is so hard.
Have a nice
Day
day / night
/ morning
/ evening
/ afternoon.
/ like midnight.
Bye.
Ciao.